I'm trying to see if there's anyone else that I've left. Okay, Tapera Mshoriwa, the MD of First Capital. You will hear his importance later on. I think the Director of Ceremonies will talk about that. Any other colleagues that I might not have mentioned by name, you are really valued. We appreciate your being here. Members of the academia, media fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, once again, good morning. It is my singular honor and privilege to welcome you all to the 2023 ZNCC Business Review Conference. We have already been told about the theme. Let me skip it. The Business Review Conference is hosted every year by ZNCC, where we deliberate on topical issues affecting industry and commerce. Broad aspects relating to the policy environment are discussed in an endeavor to lay down a sustainable path towards growth and prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, while we work towards transforming economic realities into market opportunities in line with our theme, we must be well aware of the state of our economy so that we are guided in decision-making. I think our CEO has already talked about evidence-based lobbying. Thus, the ZNCC State of Industry and Commerce Survey is undertaken annually for such purposes. Halfway through the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals from 2015 to 2030, and also our own NDS 1, 2021-2025, significant progress is being made to transform the economy through strategic and deliberate efforts from all key stakeholders. However, there is a greater need to accelerate the action being taken and continuously avail adequate resources for the effective implementation of the set targets and realization of the aspirations of the majority. Ladies and gentlemen, as the NDS-1 places the private sector as the engine of economic growth and development, we endeavor to continuously provide solutions that foster private sector-led economic recovery and growth. We implore the relevant authorities to allow markets to function at an optimal level. In this regard, Governor and peers, the private sector is calling upon the government of Zimbabwe to simply create an enabling environment for business to operate, just ensure efficient service delivery and provide certainty within the policy environment. And we guarantee you that we will deliver the necessary growth that is required to take us to upper middle income status by 2030. A conducive operating environment benefits all economic players, government included. There is a proposal that was made in the recent budget. I think our CEO talked a bit about that, where the minister proposed for government to take over third-party motor vehicle insurance. It's still a proposal, it's not yet passed. But we feel that government should simply regulate, leave that to us as the private sector. So we recommend in that regard that the government should limit its role to regulation, ensuring that the insurance and pension commissions fully discharges its mandate of creating a fair and competitive insurance environment. Peers and Governor, the Zimbabwe National Chamber of Commerce, its National Executive Council, and its broad membership, drawn from across the country, do appreciate the continued recognition and sincere consideration of our policy proposals by government of Zimbabwe from time to time. Indeed, many positives have been realized in the 2023 calendar year. Some of our recommendations contained in position papers, even in the previous annual State of Industry and Commerce Survey, have really been taken on board. That we appreciate. I won't go into detail. Even this same budget that people have been discussing, we also provided our input, and quite a number of aspects were taken on board. People were wondering whether anything was taken on board. some aspects were indeed taken on board. We note, of course, the other areas which we are still engaging about. There was a breakfast meeting yesterday organized by our colleagues from CZI and Chamber of Mines. We were also there as business so that we speak with one voice. And we are in the process of preparing a document that will be submitting to government. We are happy. 2 days ago, government actually confirmed that the budget is still open for debate. So we are making those submissions. So for those of our members that have submitted their reactions to our various offices across the country, don't despair. We're putting together the document and it will be submitted to government. The PS is here. We are still talking. And hopefully, by the time that the budget is passed, those areas that we are saying we are not happy with will have been addressed. But just for the interest, for the benefit of our peers, without getting into detail, business is concerned about the strategic reserve levy increase on fuel, as it will increase the cost of doing business. Business is concerned about the issue of toll fees increasing. Business is concerned about the restoration of corporate tax to pre-COVID-19 levels. Business is concerned, of course, about that 1% worth tax. Business is concerned about the levy on sugar content beverages, the proposed 2 cents per gram of sugar. And business is also concerned about the temporary closure of premises with tax liabilities and seizure of goods of SMEs who fail to remit taxes by ZIMRA. Those are some of the concerns, but they will be explained more in the document that we are submitting. I just had to run through them. And we are happy to continue engaging, and we are also working with our other colleagues in other BMOs. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, allow me to express my sincere gratitude and appreciation on behalf of ZNCC to our perennial partner, the Frederick Norman Foundation for Freedom and the United Nations Development Programme, Zimbabwe, for their unwavering support of the Chamber's cause. The support from these esteemed organizations made the publication of the survey that will be launched later possible, and we will endeavor to continuously produce quality results that are of benefit to our members and the general public. Also, let me take this opportunity to appreciate various organizations, ZNCC members and non-members, who took their time to respond to the survey questionnaire. We look forward to your continued support in providing critical information that guides decision-making. Additionally, the Chamber continues to provide good corporate citizenship across the entire economic spectrum. We call upon the business community. This message is now directed to us as the business community to always adhere to rules and regulations in whatever we do, be it environmental regulation, workers' rights, or any other related matters. There is no other way but to fully comply with the rules and laws of the land, even though at times it may be a drain to the budget. We have heard previously government talking about some unscrupulous business enterprises, and we have seen some policies that are put in place to instill market discipline. And in the end, those then affect the entire industry, including compliant companies. So we had to bring this message out in the presence of the peers so that we also show them that we are always encouraging our members and the generality of the business community of Zimbabwe to do whatever they do ethically and follow the laws. It is of paramount importance that we practice restraint as the business community. To those among us, the business community who are not yet part of ZNCC, I'm inviting you to join the big family so that we can work together and speak with one voice as organized business. I appreciate you all, ladies and gentlemen, for the time that you have taken to be with us here today, and your support to the Chamber is unmatched. With these remarks, I hope that you will find this conference productive and insightful as we close the year 2023. God bless you all. God bless Zimbabwe. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Shall we put our hands together again for him? Just noticing that there are some who are not clapping when we say let's put our hands together. I propose a levy of 0.01 going towards some coffers that I will describe later on. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite the President of the Zambia Chamber of Commerce to give us a message from across the river. Let's welcome him, Mr. Kabai. Mr. Kabai. Then after that, we'll also have CZI just coming to talk to us. Over to you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from Zambia. I feel so much at home here. I think Zambia, Malawi, and Zimbabwe shouldn't have been separated because you look like my people. We are all the same here. I can see my in-laws here. PS just reminded me that we haven't delivered the cows. So I'll make sure that is done, PS. Yes. Thank you for inviting me to Harare to present my speech. I'll start by recognizing the protocols as observed by my president, the ZNCC president. And I stand before you today with a deep sense of honor and gratitude. It is a privilege for the Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry to be invited to this prestigious annual business review conference hosted by our sister chamber, ZNCC, a crucial conference which serves as a platform for meaningful dialogue and collaboration among stakeholders in the industry and commerce sector. I feel more at home being in Zimbabwe, and I consider the countries, Zimbabwe and Zambia, as conjoined twins with deep connections. Like I said before, indeed, we are twins. Our two countries share the magnificent seventh wonder of the world, the Victoria Falls. And we generate our hydropower from the same source at Kariba. Zimbabwe and Zambia enjoy preferential trade under different instruments, and between January and September this year, Zimbabwe exported to Zambia. The imports from Zimbabwe to Zambia totaled $103 million US. Governor, with that, imports from Zambia totaled $177 million US. There's a bit of deficit there. During the same period, so we had $103 million US between Zimbabwe and Zambia, and vice versa, $177 million US. The relationship between Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry and ZNCC is therefore not only crucial for fostering economic cooperation and bilateral trade between our two nations, but also for strengthening the overall regional integration and development of Southern Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to extend our heartfelt appreciation to ZNCC for extending this invitation to us. This gesture of solidarity and partnership between our chambers is testimony to the strong bond that exists between our nations, Zimbabwe and Zambia. It is through such collaboration, ladies and gentlemen, that we can collectively strive towards a brighter future for our respective economies and the region as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme for this year's conference, Transforming Economic Realities into Market Opportunities, captures the essence of the Chamber's shared vision. In today's dynamic global landscape, it is essential that I'll repeat that. In today's dynamic global landscape, it is essential that we collaborate, exchange experiences, deliberate on key issues that shape our businesses and economies, with a particular focus on harnessing economic realities and turning them into market opportunities. As we gather here today, we acknowledge the challenges faced by our nations and the wider region. The normal to below normal rainfall that is projected for the next season, for instance, is likely to affect agriculture production and electricity generation. The export revenues from our two countries are mainly anchored by mineral exports. There is therefore need for value addition for our minerals as that extends beyond immediate economic gains. It encompasses broader socio-economic and environmental benefits, fostering sustainable development and creating a foundation for resilient and diversified economies. Ladies and gentlemen, I commend the two governments for the current initiatives such as the Common Agro-Industrial Park, which is seeking to develop value chains in the agriculture sector for the two countries. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very much aware of the importance of a conducive policy environment that fosters economic growth, innovation, sustainable development. It is only through the implementation of effective policies that we can ensure the prosperity of our business communities, create employment opportunities, and uplift the standards of living for our citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to recommend the government of Zimbabwe for its commitment to implementing policies that promote economic stability and growth. The initiatives taken to reduce the inflation rate, stabilize the exchange rate, providing clarity on the lifespan of the multi-currency system, and commitment to providing a market-driven de-dollarization roadmap are steps in the right direction. It is through such efforts that Zimbabwe can foster investment confidence, attract foreign direct investment, and create a conducive environment for sustainable economic development. Furthermore, ladies and gentlemen, we recognize the invaluable role played by the Zimbabwe National Chamber of Commerce in advocating for the interests of the business community and facilitating a favorable business environment. Your tireless efforts through the President in promoting trade, investment, and entrepreneurship are commendable, sir. And I applaud ZNCC for this unwavering dedication. And can I repeat that? And we applaud ZNCC for this unwavering dedication to the development of Zimbabwe's private sector. ZNCC's initiatives to provide a platform for information sharing, networking, and capacity building have been invaluable in fostering collaboration and supporting the growth of the business in Zimbabwe. As a sister chamber, ladies and gentlemen, we are here today to reaffirm our commitment to collaboration and cooperation. We firmly believe that by working together, we can overcome the challenges that lie ahead and unlock the immense potential that exists within our economies. We recognize that the successes of our businesses is intertwined by building strong partnerships. We can leverage each other's strengths to drive growth and prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, in this spirit of collaboration, we would like to invite ZNCC and its members, its member businesses to come to Zambia and explore opportunities for cross-border trade, investment, and partnership that can mutually benefit both countries' economies. Furthermore, we emphasize the importance of regional integration and the need for harmonized policies that promote cross-border trade and investment. By removing trade barriers, streamlining customs procedures, and enhancing connectivity, we can unlock the full potential of our region and create a more prosperous and interconnected market for our businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, let us embrace this opportunity to engage in meaningful discussions, share best practices, and forge partnerships that will propel our two nations forward. Together, we can build an environment where businesses thrive, where innovation flourishes, and where prosperity is shared by all. Thank you, ZNCC, for your warm hospitality and hosting this important conference. May your solidarity and shared vision for growth and prosperity continue to strengthen the bonds between our chambers and our nations. I wish you all a successful and productive conference. Thank you very much. Zikomo Tatenda.
Zikomo, you say Chabwino. I think what he just forgot, let's put our hands again for him, please. Thank you. Thank you. I think what he just forgot was he forgot the white handkerchief and just to wave and say, one Zambia, one nation. If they did it in Zambia, why can't we did it here? Thank you very much, President, for that. Just before as we move on with our program, before we get into the presentation of the 2023 State of Industry and Commerce Survey results, allow me to invite Prof. Ashok Chakravat to just talk about the policy framework or landscape. I don't know how he's going to tackle it, but we'll just give him a few minutes to talk about that since he is he's the advisor to the Minister of Finance. Prof, let's put our hands together for him as he comes.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. The Governor of the Reserve Bank, Dr. Mahuja, P.S. Boucher, my very old friend, President of ZNCC, Dr. all protocols observed. I just have a few remarks to make based on your slogan for the conference, which is transforming economic realities into market opportunities. I think this is very appropriate at this moment, and I'd like to just give you in a few minutes the perspective that is developing within government and what it means in terms of market opportunities for the private sector going forward. So we are in full agreement that indeed the private sector is the engine of growth, and an enabling environment needs to be created for the maximum expansion of the private sector. We also agree with what Chris has indicated, that our approach needs to be evidence-based. So based on all these things, there have been several initiatives that have been happening over the last 2 years, which I'd like to inform you about, and also request in particular my brother, Dr. Wushe, to take leadership on this matter as the new PS of the Ministry of Industry. So we have come from somewhere. A lot of our industrial structure is based on requirements of the colonial regime, of sanctions at that time, and a different kind of environment. We have inherited a lot of that, and a lot of industrial policy post-independence has tried to preserve that industrial structure. However, we need to move away from that kind of thinking and move towards what your slogan is, understanding what our current economic realities are and how we can transform that into into market opportunities. So in the past 2 years, there have been several approaches, evidence-based studies, which have looked on various things. Firstly, they have looked at what are the areas in which Zimbabwe has got comparative advantage going forward. Now, that is based on the abundance of our natural resources. So obviously, the natural resources need to be developed. That's already there. We have a lot of human capital. So, that human capital needs to be used in terms of our future industrialization. We also have potential for value addition and employment creation. So different industries have different elasticities or responses in terms of potential for value addition and employment creation. So when we put all this together, there have been 3 studies, 3 approaches in the last 2 years. All these have been presented to the government at the Zimbabwe Economic Development Conference and have the support of government. So the first study was actually undertaken by the Ministry of Finance in conjunction with ZEPARU, which looked at these areas and has recommended what are the potential areas going forward based on our economic realities which can result in the industrialization of Zimbabwe. So that's the first study. The second study has come out of the Reserve Bank, the Economic Research Unit, a very excellent study by their senior researcher, Dr. Masiendima, and he came to similar conclusions. So that study is also available. And the third study is more recent. That is what we call, has been done by the World Bank, the International Finance Corporation. That is called the Country Private Sector Diagnostic. Now, all these 3 have come to a common conclusion that we should not be backward-looking. We need to be forward-looking. We can't say that, Willow Whale was created 30 years ago. We have to revive Willow Whale. No, that's not the right approach. We have to see, is the industry viable in terms of the natural resources, human capital, value addition potentials going forward? So that's the way to go. Now, once those have been identified, then you can come to government and say, let us create the enabling environment for each one of those industries separately, both in terms of value addition and in terms of rural industrialization. That's the right approach. Now, I'm just going to very quickly give you a general idea of what these 3 studies have come up with. I won't go into detail, but as I said, I would request Dr. Wushe to actually call the relevant people of these studies, that is our ministry and ZEPARU, and the research wing of the Central Bank and the World Bank, call us together. Let us debate and look at all these issues. Let us come to some kind of a formal proposal which can then be presented back to all of you, to the CZI, to ZNCC, and all the other BMOs for their endorsement. Because once we agree on the areas, then you can come to government and ask for incentives which are specific to each one of those areas. That's how the East Asian tigers developed, not by some generalized policy of protection that does not work, but a specific set of incentives for each area which has got potential based on economic realities and market opportunities. So that's the right approach that we want to take. Now, some of the areas that have been identified by these 3 studies, let me give you some of the new areas. Iron and steel products. It has got huge comparative advantage for Zimbabwe. Lithium, we all know about. That's the second area. Tourism is the third area. The whole value chain we are talking about, not just specific.